complex in the global village, the 6th of October city. Prime Minister Madbouly said the Foreign Fund of Egypt is utilizing the land of the global village in the 6th of October city to establish an educational complex that includes a university, a school complex, as a sports complex, a residence for students and teachers, parks and green areas, and also a theater as well as a commercial area. The land of this global village is among the assets transferred to the fund from the Ministry of Education. And the global village is located on the Fayoum Oasis Road, the 6th of October city, on an area of 190 acres and was built in 2007 at a financial cost of £355 million. It is a miniature model of all the landmarks that exist in reality, and it is considered as the first village based on building models of real places.
أول دفعة من الطلاب وأصبحت تمتلك طاقة استيعابية تبلغ 7500 طالب كمرحلة أولى. نجح صندوق مصر السيادي مع شركائه من القطاع الخاص في افتتاح وتشغيل 4 مدارس مقدمين جودة تعليمية عالية في مقابل مادي معقول تخدم شرائح متعددة وتخدم أبناء الطبقة المتوسطة في المجتمع المصري. واليوم مجمع مدارس القرية الكونية الجديد هو خير دليل تحول الحلم إلى حقيقة ليصبح تجسيد حي على الشراكة الناجحة مع القطاع الخاص لتعظيم الاستفادة من الأصول غير
المستغلة assets and maximize their values for the next generations. It is a great educational center carrying the features of the new republic that President Sisi is establishing for right now. The Sovereign Fund is working to lay the pillars of the new republic for a better future that suits the ambitions of the Egyptian people and the President's vision efficiently and executively, maximizing the use of the current resources. Welcome in this cosmic village. Welcome in the Cosmic Village in the 6th of October city to inaugurate the educational complex, as this land will be turned from an untapped land to a complete educational complex, as the land now is a partnership between the Egypt's sovereign fund and the private sector, aiming to provide educational services in accordance with the international standards. At the outset, I would like to invite Dr. Hala Said, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, and the chairman of the Egypt's Sovereign Fund for the opening speech. Good morning. I would like to start with welcoming Dr. Mostafa Madbouly, Prime Minister, and my colleague, Minister of Education, ladies and gentlemen, chairman of entities and partners from the private sectors. Welcome everyone, and thank you for honoring us with the inauguration of the complex of schools in the Cosmic Village, which reflects the promising partnership between the Sovereign Fund and the private sector in Egypt. Actually, this project, as you have seen, developing the untapped land of the Cosmic Village, is a two-stage project. The first stage is establishing 5 schools and a complex for sports and entertainment services, and we are now finalizing the second stage outline, as the students now are 1,000 students studying at the complex, and the capacity of the complex in the first stage will be 7,000 to 8,000 students in the first stage, and we are finalizing the second stage currently. The most distinguished things about these schools that they suit the majority of the social fabrics, which is the middle class, providing exceptional education services for technological and innovative skills suitable for the job market. Mr. Prime Minister, maybe this isn't the mega project suitable to the Sovereign Fund project, but it is the most important and biggest in terms of the investment return on society, building the promising human capital capable to deal with all challenges, not only locally but also internationally. And maybe since we are here, all of us today, as government, private sector, civil society, and also from the municipalities and the parliament, all this congregation stress three messages. The first one is that the Egyptian state sees the education issue the most important issue on the local level, because this is directly related to building the Egyptian human capital and character. And when I talk about the productive human capital contributing to maximizing the use of their economy, I'm not only talking about the quantity, I'm talking about the quality of productivity and contribution in the local income through an innovative person able to integrate all technological skills in the productive process. This embodies the Egyptian Vision 2030, which tackles two main goals, the availability and competitiveness. And through this distinct education, we are able to provide availability or the principles of availability and competitiveness. The second point that maybe is the structural reform plan tackles the second important pillar related to the job market. In order to have an efficient job market in a state of 105 million inhabitants, I have a large job market that is increasing on a yearly basis. I have to reach the gap between the requirements and the demands of the job market according to the skills required and that is being acquired in local schools to integrate some complementary set of skills. The second important message is that this project is a real-life interpretation of the Egyptian role pledged to the Sovereign Fund that I am the chairwoman of, that maximizing the use of unused state assets. And there is nothing better than using untapped assets through investment. So today, the Cosmic Village, for decades that it was left behind a deserted land, and now it is turning with the participation of the private sector and the civil society, it is turning to be an exquisite educational center. The third message that this strengthens the approach of the Egyptian state to achieve a real effective partnership with the private sector. It is the main partner in the development process, so we assign the management and establishment of educational centers that provide services that are distinguished and innovative And maybe the demand of Egyptians with the increased population is now increasing, and this demand cannot be met except with partnership with the private sector. And we can see that this partnership is producing exceptional experiences and capacities, providing exemplary partnership between the sovereign fund and the private sector to work on different projects. I want to extend my gratitude to a number of participants. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for your support, and also thanks to the President supporting this model. I don't want 5 schools only. He said I want 500 schools on that manner, and we are working to establish more and more complexes on that same manner. So thank you for contribution and for your partnership. We are working in teams, so thank you for the private sector. I have witnessed their dedication. It's important that the private sector engage in investment projects that generate returns, but the spirit that I have witnessed, the increased belief in the importance of these returns on the society and the importance of generating sustainable development, and that we are believing in providing distinguished educational services to have a capable human capital able to achieve sustainable development. So thank you so much to the private sector for their efforts and contributions. I would like to also thank the teachers and administrators in these educational institutions. The teacher is the main component in this educational process, so thank you for your efforts. And last but not least, I would like to thank all of my colleagues in the Sovereign Fund for their efforts and contributions, and turning many assets in the near future from untapped assets to useful assets with high quality. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Hala Saeed, and I would like now to invite Dr. Rida Higazi, Minister of Education, for his speech. Mr. Prime Minister Mostafa Madbouly, Ms. Hala Saeed, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, esteemed presence, may peace be upon you. Mr. Prime Minister, the education system includes 25 million students and 60,000 schools, and the inevitability of development is now pressing more than ever. So there has to be a real partnership with the private sector and the civil society in order to be able to achieve real competitiveness. So in the framework of the keenness of the Egyptian government to create an investment climate and encouraging investors to participate effectively in national projects and providing real experiences for the success of educational projects, which attract a number of investors working in the education industry. The ministry laid on 3 pillars is working. First of which is achieving the state ownership policy and is maximizing the use of it to use the state resources. Second, the unbiased investment from the private sector and providing equity between the private sector entities. Third, respecting transparency. The Ministry of Education believes in the importance of the private sector to provide educational services using their experiences to better the quality of education in Egypt, including the partnership with the private sector, establishing schools that are able to graduate students able to participate in the job market. And we're working on 100 schools in this framework. Establishing public schools with moderate prices for distinguished educational services for the middle class, and we have the triple B model with 28 vocational education schools. The private sector is participating with the Nile certificate for the Cambridge examination entity, and the private sector participation in using the state assets. Now we are providing the most facilitations to provide educational services for the Egyptian human capital. Mr. Prime Minister, the ministry now is digitalizing the licensing for schools to facilitate procedures for the private sector, and now we're working to eliminate the human element from the licensing process. Now we are adopting new administrative approaches to guarantee the success of the educational process, creating an attracting investment climate. And I would like to extend my gratitude and respect for all the workers in the Sovereign Fund, which is adopting a really difficult mission, maximizing the untapped and unused assets of the Egyptian state, and I hope them all success. Thank you so much. May peace be upon you. I would like to thank Dr. Rida Higazi, and I would like now to invite Dr. Habris, CEO of the Egyptian Sovereign Fund. Mr. Prime Minister, esteemed presence in the Sovereign Fund, we have been working and repeating the same philosophy, such as engaging the private sector to use unused assets and increasing the competitiveness, attracting foreign and local capital. And this is to achieve a good investment climate in the state. What we are witnessing today is a demonstration of our goals. I would like to quote you, Mr. Prime Minister. We are building now a government. We are building a state and a republic. What have been established here today is a clear demonstration that with financial engineering we can achieve financial returns and alleviate the suffering of the current generation, and that's how we are starting with the education investment philosophy. Each parent is concerned with the education of their children. The income now of any family is about between 20 to 40,000 pounds a month, and they need an example, a model with the international standards integrated with the job market skills. And we found an ambitious investors who wants to returns and wants to provide a promising model for education. So they harness all of their capacities to upgrade the investment. And that's why investors bear the burden for this integration with international standards such as Cambridge. So this school have accreditation before even it operates. And that's why Dr. Hassan Al-Qalla from Sira Education, who are serving a lot of educational entities, believing in our sovereign fund philosophy, and they are investing with us now, providing different different educational products with facilities that are not normally in this price range for schools, providing services even after the school day with the sports activities for the surrounding areas. I would like to, as Ahmed Wahbi from the Egyptian Platform for Education, which invested £10 million, allow me, Dr. Ahmed Wahbi from the platform that invested since 2 years ago, and they only then owned 5 educational centers, and after 2 years there are 25 educational entities with £4 billion capital. Allow me, while you are checking the schools, there is a video for mothers who entered the caravan 9 months ago. They have seen educational cadres, and we told them about our idea and our vision. And 1 week before the start of the school year, they teared because they were so satisfied with the example they saw. And very soon, thanks to you all, we are happy to take that joy. We are going to take this project to the Delta and the Upper Egypt governorates. And in partnership with you, we have investors from the private sectors working on hospital projects. So very soon we have education and we have health. In spite of the state efforts to better the quality standards, the increased demand will remain a competitiveness drive, which is the best method for creating reform. And this is the best for investment returns. We have a 30% return now. The foreign term that we are trying to achieve is making the industry honest through competition. Mr. Prime Minister, your existence here today is an honor, honoring us in different teamworks working in this project. It's a fabric of success on a steady base of sustainability and competitiveness. So please, these teamwork from Mabika, Sira, and the Egyptian Platform for Education and EFG, and the Sovereign Fund of Egypt, my colleagues Kamal Tariq and Hanna, please stand up, all of you. Finally, Mr. Prime Minister, what you're witnessing here today is a dream that came true with a clear political will and a great private sector that wants returns and also want to establish their state. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ihabriz. Is this the project is a great demonstration of the public-private partnership. So allow me to invite Dr. Hassan Al-Qalla, the founder of SIRA. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious, Mr. Prime Minister, Dr. Mostafa Madbouly, Dr. Hala Saeed, Minister of Planning and Chairwoman of the Fund, Dr. Rida Hijazi, Minister of Education, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to be here today. And my first impression while signing the Memorandum of Understanding with the Minister, it was great. And while signing, Dr. Hala said, I'm not satisfied with 1 or 2 schools. We need to establish 100 schools. And if we succeeded, we can establish 1,000 schools. I'm now making a promise that we are going to hold a project of establishing 100 schools with 1,000 classes. Dr. Ihab talked a lot about the investors wanting to earn returns. They don't only want returns. The return here comes over 10 years, and this is a very weak return of investment, but we believe in the society and feasibility and the role education plays in investment. This is the main driver for us to dig with our own hands. I couldn't believe that we could build schools in this narrow time frame. The example here is that Prime Minister saying that the reasonable is 40,000. Our model is 30,000 with future tech, with different philosophy. The student will obtain a high school diploma and a specialized diploma in technology and communication, in hardware or software development, including AI technologies in all of its specialties, because they study a double curricula, and this is £30,000 cost. We are now building in the new Rashid Governorate. You directed us to build a university in Asyut, and now it is established and working and operating and already generating returns. And this is our pledge to the Egyptian state, and our implementing the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Hassan Al-Qalla. And now with Mr. Ahmed Wahbi, the CEO of the Egyptian Platform for Education. Good morning, sir. I would like to thank Mr. Prime Minister for honoring us with your visit today, and I would like to thank the ministers for their presence. EP is the developer and manager of the Mobika and the funds owned schools, so I'm talking about the development of this project from the point of view of the developer. We had a dream 3 years ago. 3 years ago we had a dream and we had a vision to provide an educational example that tackles the challenges of education in Egypt, and in the meantime considering the societal dimension of the Egyptian family and how to provide these services with moderate and reasonable prices with competitive salaries for the teaching staff. The bigger challenge was how to maximize the use of the project and investment. The answer was one always, which is the quality of the product, the quality of the service. And to reach this high quality and this capacity, we had a bunch of elements. The first element is finding the suitable partner. And really, Mobeka and the Egyptian Sovereign Fund are worthy of thanking and gratitude, because what they contributed to this project was based on reality and quality, and which gave us this equation to provide innovation in this project. This project was established in 1 year, which is a record. When we considered this vision, we wanted to be innovative and creative. We didn't want to be traditional. We took the Egyptian curricula, which is very rich in terms of content, and we supported it with teaching methods with international standards. We had vocational centers and technical centers. The student can go into the class, take the theory, and then goes out to vocational centers to apply what they have learned through coding or AI, which give them skills such as scientific research, scientific application, and practical application. And these are the skills required in the job market, and we believe that if we can execute in this manner, we can graduate students that are able to compete in international markets. So international entities now are reviewing our works, because we want to see if we are abiding by the international standards or not. So Cambridge are now reviewing us, and now these are Egyptian schools. We have accreditation of Cambridge, and these are accreditors with very high prices. So we are very, very proud of this project. The third element is the human capital. As Dr. Hala said, the teacher is the main feature of the educational process, and this is a new model. We really paid attention to the flexible teacher who is willing to learn and develop, and we gave them a very high quality training, which developed their performance and expanded their capacities. And they developed really fast to support this model. And now we can see a very positive outcome, a project in less than a year, and this is a record in our market. And this demand will generate an investment return that continues and improves with time. And before I conclude, I would like to thank Dr. Hala Saeed for her support to our vision since the beginning of the project, and I thank you for the facilitations you provided, and also Dr. Rida Higazi for his support as an educational developer. And what we have reached today is our dream that we dreamed of 3 years ago coming true in a model developing the Egyptian student, the Egyptian teacher, considering the parents in terms of tuition and the societal dimension. And now in the 500 complex, we will have a role to leave a bigger fingerprint even from this project. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed Wahbi. And now with the Prime Minister's speech, Dr. Mostafa Madbouly. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious, at the outset I would like to welcome my colleagues, Dr. Hala Saeed, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Hagezi, Minister of Education, Governor of Giza, and all of my colleagues. Really, I wasn't planning on delivering a speech, but what I have witnessed today, as we can see, really made my day. What I have seen today made my day and made me very happy, because it is a dream comes true for the Egyptian state, an untapped lands that was neglected. And when I was the Minister of Housing, I remember this cosmic village as an unuseful land dedicated to the Ministry of Education, which was an unused asset. And what we have witnessed today stresses the success of the state vision in the public-private partnership. And I would like to thank the Sovereign Fund of Egypt and Dr. Hala as the chairwoman and all the colleagues from the fund, because they are the tool that translated the idea and the policy of the government, partnering up with the private sector to maximize the use of unused assets. The project that we are seeing today is an innovative project tackling an educational product which has been greatly developed creatively, which encourages us to expand on these models everywhere all around Egypt. The other factor is the tuition paid by the students today, which cover the demand of a really wide segment from the Egyptian middle class, which aim to a high quality education for their sons with moderate prices, because they might not be able to accommodate the tuitions of international or private schools. So this model that we can see today is not any way less than the students graduating from schools that their tuitions are 5 or 4 folds of the tuitions paid in these schools that are established and we see today. So we need at least 300 schools established in that same manner. If we're talking about average 10 schools in each governorate, we're talking about 270 schools. But really, as a state, we are ready to give lands in the best areas throughout Egypt. And if there are any newly established buildings, they can be dedicated with proportions to be available for these kinds of schools. I don't want to be long, but once more I would like to extend my gratitude to all who contributed in the establishment that we can see today. We are inaugurating this here, and I would like to see this happen all over Egypt. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, Dr. Mostafa Madbouly. The inauguration of the school complex in the Cosmic Village is a milestone with a partnership between all the parties in the framework in the strategic consensus to achieve a high-quality education and a leap for better education, a high-quality education all over Egypt. Thank you so much for attending and for your support, and I would like to ask the presidents to remain in their seats.